In an article published by the Center for Healthy Churches, a year or so back, Guy Sells, one of my colleagues, discussed his own work as a pastor. In this article, he spoke of a tension that all pastors feel between the priestly and the prophetic dimensions of a pastor's calling. Churches need to recognize this burden of responsibility that every pastor carries. To simplify a bit, priests help us with our relationships with God, while prophets call us to reflect our relationship with God in our relationships with other people, with culture, with systems, structures of society. The primary locations of a priest are places like the sanctuary, the hospital room, the nursing homes, prisons, gravesides, front porches, restaurants where conversations about life's challenges unfold over a shared meal. Priests listen more than they talk. And when they do speak, they use the language of prayer and blessing. One might say the priest is among the people and, in a sense, a representation of them. He's with the people. It's a different role for the prophet. The primary locations of a prophet are the streets, the city hall, the county courthouse, the community center, the media outlet, the creative studios where art and music are made, even boardrooms. Prophets show up anywhere in the world where decisions are made, opinions are shaped, things that affect the common good. Prophets spend a great deal of time in discernment and analysis, and when they speak, they mainly question what is and describe what could and should be. While the priest's work is primarily within the church, the prophet's focus is most often beyond it. And we're living in times when these distinctions are breaking down. Out there in public realms, the pastor will find many people not necessarily connected with the church who yearn for the listening, guiding, and healing ministry of a priest. They long to be heard, to have their spiritual needs taken seriously, to have someone help them honor the surprises of the sacred that appear in their experience. I often found that to be true in the city where I pastored for so many years. The church needs to turn more intentionally to those outside the church walls because really everyone needs a pastor. In the church, the pastor will find more and more reasons to raise, though, also prophetic questions in relationship to our faith and to the culture in which we live, the principalities and powers, so to speak. Too often today, I think the church has become so self-absorbed that we have forgotten this role. I think that in the days ahead, pastors will increasingly need the wisdom, the grace, the courage to address the ways in which the culture tempts the church to baptize and affirm an order of things which is at odds with God's kingdom of justice and mercy and power. Carlisle Marney said that pastors ought not to be hand-tamed by the gentry. We ought not to allow the security afforded to the priest to deflect our prophetic impulse. I know as a pastor I always felt the tension between those two. I know how difficult it is to distinguish between partisan political issues and overarching issues of truthfulness and character and justice. There were times in my ministry when I was reluctant to speak painful truth to people that I loved. And I was aware that congregations don't always welcome prophetic voices, especially from within. So I want you to be praying for your next pastor to handle this tension that comes, to handle it with grace and courage. Every church needs both to move forward. So pray for your next pastor. Stay safe, stay well, and stay connected as you are able to God and to one another. Blessings.